Welcome to the eBuy for OASIS Plus training. Today we will review how to use eBuy to find and respond to opportunities for OASIS Plus. eBuy is the only place where OASIS Plus task orders will be posted, so it is important that you understand how to utilize eBuy and find opportunities for your contracts. Today we'll review the following topics: logging into eBuy, managing your contract, finding opportunities, prepare and review quotes, feedback and future improvements, and training and resources. Logging into eBuy. In order to use eBuy, you must first register your OASIS Plus contract with the VSC, which is the Vendor Support Center. Please make sure that when you do register with VSC, the email that you use to register is the same email that you use to log into eBuy for the first time. If you try to log into eBuy with a login associated to a different email than the one you registered with VSC, you will not be able to see your contract. Once you log in for the first time, you can add additional POCs to your contract, which we will get to in a bit. When a new contract is added to eBuy, the name, phone, and email are recorded during the registration in the Vendor Support Center. It'll be automatically assigned as the POC or point of contact for each of the SINs or categories, we call those CLINs, under that contract. Whenever a new category or SIN is added to a contract, eBuy will always populate the name, phone, and email from the information recorded in the Vendor Support Center as the point of contact for the new category. So it's very important that when you register your contract in the VSC, you're using the correct email address so that you can then manage your contract within eBuy, and that information will also transfer to SRP as well. Logging into eBuy is simple. You go to ebuy.gsa.gov. You're going to log in as a contractor at the top right-hand side of your screen, and you're going to follow the instructions provided at logon. Reminder, in order to use eBuy, you have got to register your OASIS Plus contract in the VSC. If you don't do that part, you will not be able to log into eBuy to see your contract. Logging into eBuy, you're going to log in and you'll be prompted to select a contract to view and manage. This will be a drop-down of all of the contracts that you are assigned to in eBuy. This might be your first contract, or you might have several listed here. If you don't see your contract, make sure that you've registered the same email in VSC that you used to log into eBuy, and that you are a POC on that contract. So if you know you are not the main POC on the contract, but you should be added as an associated POC and you don't see the contract, please make sure you reach out to the main POC for the contract to make sure that they have appropriately added you within the eBuy system. If you are the registered point of contact who registered in VSC and you don't see your contract listed when you go to log into eBuy, please reach out to the VSC help desk, which I will be providing that information of how to contact them shortly. Once logged in, you will have a banner to read and accept terms of service. And as a reminder, once you are on the home page, once you've logged in, you can download the contractor job aid at any time. Today's training is a quick, as much detailed as we can for OASIS Plus training, but there are detailed guides on the homepage. At the homepage at the very bottom, under website information, you'll be able to download the contractor job aid. This guide will be updated with any changes to the system and has detailed step-by-step instructions on every aspect of the eBuy system. We recommend that you keep a copy of this on hand to answer any questions that you may have before reaching out to the help desk. Now on to the homepage. Your homepage will allow you to navigate to different sections of eBuy. You have the RFQ finder, which will be changed shortly to Request Finder. The Request Finder provides a quick way for you to find and open any requests that you might have access to. There is the My Quote section or My Bid section, which provides a quick access to all of your quotes and bids that your company has submitted or saved to draft. Then there are the Request section that displays the opportunities available for you under the CLINs that you've been awarded under OASIS Plus. Your Profile tab will provide a snapshot of points of contact for each of your contract categories and your email notifications. The Messages section will provide any alerts on any activity on submitted quotes and notification requesting you to quote on an RFQ if requested. Let's discuss managing your contract in eBuy and common questions that are asked from our industry partners. The first is adding contract point of contacts. After your contract is registered in VSC, the main contact will log into eBuy. At that point, they can add additional points of contacts to the contract under your Profile tab. As a default, there must always be one point of contact for each CLIN awarded in eBuy. And at first, that will be the main contact that was registered in VSC. Once logged in, the main contact can add additional POCs to the contract. Please remember that anyone listed as a POC in your profile, regardless of the category they are listed under, has the ability to submit quotes for RFQs posted under all of your CLINs under your contract. So please use caution when giving others access to your eBuy contract. Please also be mindful when selecting who will be your main POC for a category. Buyers may wish to reach out to your company directly, and having someone who is involved and knowledgeable of eBuy and the quotes being submitted is very important for your success. Adding a new point of contact is pretty straightforward. You will need their name, phone number, email, and SIN or CLINs that you want to give them access to. Very important note is that points of contact will access all of your awarded SINs or CLINs for your contract, and there is no way to limit access per SIN at this time. Another common question that we get is, can I add multiple OASIS Plus contracts to one logon? And the answer is yes. This will make using eBuy easier and easier to manage all of your eBuy contracts in one place. If your company has more than one contract with GSA, eBuy provides the ability for you to associate more than one contract to a single logon. To associate a contract, you'll click on Manage, Add Contracts. In order to associate a contract, you must first be a point of contact. You cannot associate contracts to your logon if you are not a POC to begin with. Only the master contract logon will display all of the associated contracts. So make sure you are tracking what master contract you are adding the associated contracts to, so you can log on with that moving forward. Once you've added contracts to one logon, you will be able to see opportunities for all of your contracts in one place, just like the screenshot. This helps you see opportunities for all of your contracts without having to log in and out of eBuy under multiple contracts. Now that your account is all set, we will want to look at how you can see opportunities that are available to you. An important note is that you will not be able to view RFQs posted under SINs that you have not been awarded. You will only see opportunities for CLINs that you've been awarded under your OASIS Plus contracts. It is advisable to check eBuy each day for new opportunities and notifications. For searching RFQs, sometimes the list of RFQ opportunities can be rather long and cumbersome, especially if you have multiple contracts on one logon. eBuy provides a search RFQ tool to help you quickly narrow the list down to RFQs from specific industries or agencies. You can enter search terms and eBuy will look into the following fields: RFQ number, title, description, agency name, attachments, line items, etc. This will help you navigate and search for specific RFQs or keywords and terms. How do you get notifications? eBuy will provide email notifications if you are set up to receive them. Again, please check the point of contact screen of your account. On the screenshot under the Profile tab, you will see the green toggle switch that email notifications are on. If you do choose to get email notifications, you'll receive notifications from eBuy when there are new opportunities, when Q&As have been posted, when an RFQ has been amended or canceled. You will also get notices if your quote was received, awarded, partially awarded, or if no award has been made. If a seller submits a question to a customer about a request, the customer may post the questions and their answers to eBuy for all selected vendors to review. In addition, customers may modify their RFQ anytime before closing. As a seller, you can see if the RFQ has any Q&As or has posted any modifications under the My Quote section. We have some exciting changes coming to eBuy in the next few months, including changing the verbiage of modifications to amendments, as seen here. Once you find an opportunity, you will want to review it and prepare a quote. When preparing a quote, there will be two sections. The first will be RFQ details. This will contain all of the information, including attachments. The other section is quote details. This is where you'll enter your quote data. Many RFQs contain line items entered by the buyer. You may enter a unit price for each line item or add additional line items to your quote. If including additional line items with your quote, it is suggested that you provide additional information or reasoning in the contractor comments for the buyer to review. You have the option of offering the buyer a prompt payment discount. This prompt payment discount must be at least the base discount amount offered in your contract. You may attach a statement of work or additional documents to the RFQ as needed. A note, please make sure that you are naming each attachment uniquely and tracking the versions. This will help you manage any updates or changes to your attachments and help the buyer review all of your attachments. Contractor comments. Enter any additional information that the buyer needs to know in this space. For quote pricing, if your quote contains pricing in attached documents or in the contractor comments area, please enter the amount of pricing in the space provided. Another note, anyone listed as a POC in eBuy for your contract has the ability to prepare and submit a quote on your behalf. So please make sure you know who your points of contact are in eBuy to make sure that the appropriate POCs have been listed. What POC will be displayed with my quotes? If you're wondering what POC will be displayed on your quotes to buyers, the answer is the main POC for your contract in your profile. Now, originally that will be the first POC that registers their contract in the VSC, but that can be changed once you get into eBuy and manage your contract. So I recommend that you go into your profile, figure out who the main POC is for each contract, because that will be the person that will be the POC for all of your quotes for the buyer to reach out to you. Let's review the quote actions that you may have available to you and what they mean. Review and submit. When you have completed entering and attaching the appropriate information for your quote, click the Review and Submit button. Your quote will automatically be saved to draft, and eBuy will ask you to review your information. If you need to edit or add additional information, you can click the Back button and make necessary changes before you submit. The Interested button. This provides you the ability to inform the buyer that you intend to submit a quote on this RFQ. By selecting the Interested button, you will receive an email notice if the buyer modifies, cancels, or submits Q&As for the RFQ. One note, if you select Interested, that does not mean that you have bid on the RFQ. So please make sure that if you do intend to submit a quote or a bid, you do so before the RFQ closes. Interested just lets the buyer know that you intend to bid. It does not count as a bid or a quote for submission or review. No quote or no bid button. If you do not wish to quote on an RFQ, you can select the no quote to provide the reason for not quoting on an RFQ. Please note that responding no quote to an RFQ that is seeking sources is essentially telling your buyer that you do not have the ability to meet the needs or fulfill the requirements of that RFQ. Save to draft is pretty self-explanatory. eBuy provides the ability to save your quote to draft and submit it later. All the information entered, including attachments, will be saved with the draft. To retrieve your draft at a later date, please go to the My Quote page. Just a reminder that buyers do not see your quotes that are drafted. They only see quotes that have been submitted for their review. One note about the no quote or no bid response. If you do not wish to quote or bid on RFQ, you can select the no quote and it will give you some reasons to select as to why you did not quote. Please take the time if you are able to submit one of these responses or type in your own response if they're not applicable. Quote modifications, soon to be amendments. eBuy allows you to modify your quote as many times as you need up until the RFQ close date and time. To update a quote for an RFQ that is still open, you would locate your quote on the My Quotes page. You'll click on the quote ID. From the quote summary page, you would click Update Quote. On the Prepare Quote Response page, you would enter the purpose of the modification or the changes you are making in the space provided. Please make sure that you do add the reason for modification or amendment. That is a requirement in order for you to amend your quote. Reviewing your quotes at any time. The My Quotes page contains your active and archived quotes and their current status. It is divided into two sections, a filter area on the left side and the quote listing on the right side. Quote filters on the left side include archived versus active quotes, quote bid status, or additional filters like has award information, canceled requests, request amendment, or new Q&As added. In order to see closed and archived RFQs, you have to have submitted quotes for them. You will not be able to see RFQs that have closed if you have not submitted a quote. One of the biggest questions we get is how can I see old RFQs that were submitted and closed in the past? How do I pull those up? And the answer is unless you have bid on the RFQ, it will not show up in your archived quotes. You'll not be able to review that information. Here's a quick reminder of the quote statuses so that you understand what each quote status means. There's no mystery. Pending response quote is waiting to be evaluated by the buyer. Awarded quote has been evaluated and awarded by the buyer in eBuy. Awarded partial quote has been evaluated and partially awarded by the buyer. Not awarded quote has been evaluated and not awarded to you by the buyer. No quote is if you've selected not to quote on the RFQ. Canceled means you've canceled your quote. Draft quote means your quote has been saved but not yet submitted. Interested means you've expressed interest in the RFQ but not yet submitted a quote. And sources sought means the RFQ was designated to seek sources only. Once the RFQ has closed and the buyer has evaluated your quotes, they may submit a notice of award to your quote in eBuy. If this happens, your quote status will be changed to awarded or partially awarded. If your quote is awarded, you will also get an email notification via eBuy. Remember to always provide feedback. We want to know how we can improve your experience when using eBuy. eBuy is always looking for feedback from users on how to make the system better. We want to encourage you to provide feedback to them directly by using the Give Feedback button at the bottom of your home screen. From there, you can provide comments to the eBuy team for their review. Why do we ask you for your feedback? Because we listen. Upcoming changes to eBuy for sellers are coming very soon. These changes were requested by our industry partners, and we have worked very hard in order to get these into our live production site. So we are expecting these changes to happen August, September 2025 timeframe. Some of the changes that you can expect to see on your side of eBuy is that we are going to rename the RFQs to requests. The terminology RFQ will be updated to request. We are doing this because moving forward, we will differentiate RFQs, RFIs, and RFPs. We're going to rename quotes to quotes and bids. We are renaming the terminology for modification to amendment. We will have a new numbering process for RFPs and RFIs. And there will be 10 additional fields for RFQs, RFIs, and RFPs from the buyer on the RFQ field. So you'll have 10 additional data elements from the buyer to help you better understand the ask from the customer. Training and resources. Please reach out to the VSC help desk for any technical assistance or refer to the contractor job aid for any details on any topics that we covered today. As discussed previously, if you go to try to log into eBuy and you're unable to see your contract or you're having other technical difficulties, please reach out to the Vendor Support Center. The phone number and email are listed here. Please also check out GSA's channel on YouTube. There are many great resources there that have to do with eLibrary, VSC, and eBuy. And also please utilize the OASIS Plus resources page on gsa.gov. Those resources will be updated as we get new information, as we get these new changes into eBuy and we update the guides and the training, we will update this page as well. Thank you for attending training today for OASIS Plus in eBuy.